if you're an empath, you may have noticed that the more you awaken, the more you really embrace your empathic gifts, the harder it is for you to actually get up each and every day to go to work, or just to be at work all day long, or just have a regular conventional job. Where you even have times where you feel like you just want to break free. You just want to quit your job and do your own thing and experience more freedom. And there is a reason for that, because empaths are often quite challenged in a conventional job. And in this video, I want to share with you the 5 reasons why that is. Why empaths and highly sensitive souls are really challenged in a conventional job. And when you know that, you can actually make adjustments if you are really challenged in your job. So let me start out with the very first reason why you might be challenged in a conventional job, which is that empaths are highly creative souls. We need to be allowed to express ourselves in whatever way we feel called to do so, unhindered, unlimited. And that's often challenged at work because, well, at work you have to follow rules. You have to stick to what you were actually hired for. You can't just venture out like, yeah, I'm going to just do this right now, right? So you're very limited in your job in terms of your creative outlet. You can't really be as creative in a job. Of course, if you have somewhat of a creative job, then you may feel more at home. But even then, you may feel that you're quite hindered because you can express yourself in whatever way you want to. You have to do the work in a specific way of how it's been determined by, your supervisor, your manager, your boss, your higher ups, right? So that's the first reason. If you're feeling that you are not able to be very creative at your job, or you feel like you can't really express yourself in whatever way you would like, and here expression is, how you do your work, the work that you do, how you show up, how you speak, what you share, and those type of things, what you create. So as empath, we like to create different things. We like to express ourselves in a higher way, in whatever way we really feel inspired to do so. And usually that doesn't really fit into the regular job description, right? So that's the first reason. Then the second reason is that as empaths, we are highly sensitive souls. So when you are at work, when you're around a lot of people, there's often that energetic and emotional overwhelm, especially if you haven't really learned how to protect yourself yet, how to shield yourself, how to cleanse and clear yourself at the end of the day, or whenever you're picking up a lot. Because we're sponges for all the different frequencies and all the different energies and all the different emotions that people have, right? So when you are at, let's say, at the office or at your job, and there are a lot of people there, especially also if you're also working with customers, whether it's on the phone or in person, you're exposed to a lot of different energies. Good energies, but also often a lot of bad energy and the negative energy and the emotional things that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And it can be very overwhelming in a regular job, being around all these different people, for an empath to not feel overwhelmed or challenged. Then the third reason is that empaths often feel quite restricted in their job because as empaths, we hold a very important purpose and role in life. We are meant to do something much, much more evolved, much, much, much bigger than what fits into a regular job, in a conventional job, right? So you may be at work feeling like there's so much more that you're meant to be doing. There's so much more that you are here to do. There's so much more to who you are. And you feel quite constricted in your job because it's limiting you. It's kind of putting you in a box and you can't break free from that box. So if you're noticing that when you're sitting at work and you're like, man, there's something more. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I know there is something more. You may also notice that you're feeling quite dissatisfied in your role, in your job, because you're not actually doing what your soul has come here to do. Because as empaths, you also have psychic abilities or spiritual gifts or gifts of a higher nature. And those are usually suppressed at the job because, well, you can't just go out there and be all woo, right? Go all woo on people and, just share your gifts with the world, at your job. So you're feeling quite constricted in your role, which then can cause that inner disconnect and also that immense dissatisfaction. So if you're waking up in the morning like, ugh, I gotta go to work again. I don't want to. I'm exhausted. I don't want to. I just don't like my job. Right? You're in just that icky kind of energy. that is because you're feeling very constricted. It is not what you are meant to be doing. Now, there's also a reason why you are having a conventional job, and I get to it after I share with you those 5 reasons. But if you're feeling that, then that is a good sign that this is not what you're meant to be doing, that you may want to look for something different. Now here, like I said, I'm not saying quit your job or do anything rational. I'm not saying that. But you may then, knowing these signs, knowing these reasons can help you then shift. It can help you shift your perception. It can help you shift your perspective about what you're doing, about your job, about the role and everything. And can also help you, nudge you, push you into really figuring out, well, what am I here to do? What is that more that I'm meant to be doing? So it can then help you then move you forward. So if you're feeling quite restricted in your job and you feel like you just want to break free, use it as the fuel to move you forward, to really help you find out what is it that you're here to do, and then take the necessary steps to make the shifts in your life. But like I said, don't do anything rational, okay? But I'm curious to know from you though, do you actually feel quite constricted, maybe dissatisfied with your job? Leave me a comment below, let me know. I remember how it was when I was still working. I was working in a PTSD treatment facility and I was feeling so much. And yes, I loved the work, but I also felt so constricted. I always took on more and more and more work because there was always something, I had that hunger for something more, but the job never could fulfill that. So I'm curious to know, do you experience that too? Leave me a comment below, let me know. I'm curious to know. Now, the 4th reason why empaths are often challenged in conventional jobs is that they're also often overcommitted out of the challenge of saying no. Because as empaths, we want to help. We often say yes to just about everything. We have a hard time saying no. And that then causes us to be overcommitted because we're always saying yes to everything. Then we have so much on our plate that it feels very overwhelming, very challenging just to kind of keep up with everything. Or you then actually then start taking on more and more work at your job because maybe you're bored with the regular work that you're doing. Maybe you just need more. You have that hunger for more, kind of like what I experienced at my job. But the problem is, oftentimes when you are taking on more and more and more work, you're then often not even getting the recognition, which can also cause you even more dissatisfaction because you're like, well, I'm doing all this work and they're not seeing it. I'm not getting paid for it. They're not recognizing me for it. And it causes a whole lot more emotional disconnect and more dissatisfaction about you doing your work. Because like I said, a regular job, a conventional job is very constricted to an empath, a highly sensitive soul, because we have that desire to do more, to be more, to fulfill a greater purpose. And like I said, a job can give you that. And then when you're all overcommitting yourself because you're always looking for that more, that to fill that hunger, that desire for more, that then causes you to be overcommitted. Which, like I said, also then causes a lot of problems and a lot of dissatisfaction, and it's just not a good energy to be in. Because that then can also cause you to feel very depleted as well. Which brings me to the 5th reason is the energy drains. Empaths are often experience energy drains from overcommitment, being around all these different people, the toxic people, the energy vampires, all of that basically sucks the empath dry. And you experience that energy drain where during the day, even just after a few hours being there, you're just feeling so drained. I remember I used to lunchtime after 4 hours, I was so tired that I felt like I needed to take a nap because it was just so intense. I mean, I was working in a PTSD treatment facility, so I'm gonna let you imagine how intense that was, right? Me being an empath, I didn't even know that I was an empath at that time, so it was double challenging. But you oftentimes, as an empath, we're feeling so drained by all that energy, by all that we're experiencing with all these people that are around us, that at the end of the day, or even just after a few hours, you're so extremely drained that you really just want to go home, go take a nap, and really pull the covers over your head and not come out again. And the problem with that is that if it stays unchecked for too long, if you're not really protecting yourself, if you're staying in that toxic energy, in that, being always drained and all that, that can then also lead to health challenges and dis-ease and discomfort. It can also cause depression, anxiety, all of those different things. So it can affect an empath on an emotional and mental level, but then also on a physical level as well. When you're always experiencing those energy drains and being around all these not so pleasant energies. So here are the 5 reasons why empaths usually struggle, but I have one extra one that I want to include as well. And that is that regular jobs, conventional jobs, are usually not an empath higher calling. An empath usually has a much higher calling to make a bigger impact, to be of greater service, to share their divine gifts, their spiritual gifts, to really show up in the world in a higher way. And a regular conventional job doesn't allow the empath to grow personally and also spiritually and also energetically. There's that cap to it. There's that limitation. There's a constriction with a regular job. So an empath has a higher calling, but a conventional job often hinders an empath from really embracing their path. However, a conventional job is the bridge that will help an empath get to where they need to be. So if you're in a conventional job right now, in a regular job, in a 9 to 5 or a regular full-time job, and you're feeling like it's not the right thing, it's not what you're meant to be doing, like I said, don't do anything rational, but use that discomfort that you're feeling, the dissatisfaction as the fuel that will help you get to where you want to be. Using your conventional job, because you do need money, right? You need to survive, right? You need to take care of things. So use your conventional job as the bridge that will help you get to where you need to be. Because most likely you will then feel called to do your own thing. That's why a lot of empaths are actually self-employed. Because when you're self-employed, you have all the freedom. Yes, there are a lot of challenges included as well. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. However, you have the freedom, for one, to grow in whatever way you want. You can express yourself in whatever way you want. You can design your life and your day in whatever way you want, right? So you have a lot of freedom. And then also, you can actually do the work that your soul has come here to do. And your job is the bridge that will help you get there, because then you have the financial income to maybe hire a coach, a mentor, buy courses, read books, or whatever it is that you need, or go to workshops or whatnot to learn what you need to learn to then really step into what your soul has come here to do, your soul's higher calling. You will never be able to do that in a regular job. So if you're feeling unfulfilled in your regular job, it's because you're not fulfilling your soul's higher purpose, your soul's higher calling, because there's a cap on how much you can grow in a regular job. And often it's very limited, right? You can only do that, in that you got to kind of confine yourself to that box of your job. There's not much more you can do, right? Yes, you can maybe rise up in your job as far as like getting a promotion or whatnot, but still, you're still confined to what then this level of responsibility holds for you. There's also there's always a constriction with a regular job. You cannot express yourself however you want. So that's why empaths are often challenged and they're struggling with a conventional job, because it's just so constricted. And us empaths, we're just these free thinkers. We're these beautiful, creative souls that need freedom. So I'm sharing this with you for you to have that understanding that if you are challenged in your job, if you are maybe looking for a job but you can't find a regular job, that's because there's also that inner disconnect to that as well, because deep down you know that there's a limitation there. So here then maybe look for something else. Look for a way where you can really express yourself in whatever way you need. Yes, you do need a job until your maybe side hustle or whatever you want to create is off the ground, but use that job as the bridge that will help you get there. So I hope this video resonated with you, that maybe it gave you some insights into why maybe you are feeling a certain way whenever you're going to work each and every day, and how you feel about your work. I'm curious to know, how did that resonate with you, what I shared with you? Are you experiencing any of the things that I just shared with you here in this video? I would love to know. Leave me a comment below. But then also, thank you so much for being here. Now be sure to check out these 2 videos here. That can help you, for one, set more clear boundaries when you are at work, and also how to cleanse and clear and protect your energy. Very important for an empath. So thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.